How's it, guys? If you have a baby brother or a niece, daughter, anyone who's in school, preferably let's say foundation phase or even intermediate, so we're looking at anywhere between a grade one to a grade six. Again, it's going to depend on schools and so on. But if you have someone preferably in primary school, I would say get them a tablet. Before you get them a phone, get them a tablet or a laptop, but tablets are more affordable than laptops. The reason I'm saying this is for two reasons. One, I'm sure by now people must have heard that there's a subject called coding on robotics that is supposed to have been implemented by now in schools. Our DOEs reached a point where they can't even implement their projects correctly from the top. That's how slow it is. But to their credit, there's been a bit of research, and they are apparently waiting for Umalosi to approve the documents and everything. And once that gets done, then hopefully they will say everyone has to now do it because it's supposed to be a compulsory subject. Some schools have started doing it. Many Model C schools have started doing it. I believe in many provinces outside of KZN. I think KZN is the only one that's really behind, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to have to play catch up because once it happens, they're going to ram it up. Some schools have already started. Our school has started. We started last year and we're phasing it in grade by grade. So once the department says it must be done, it is now officially a compulsory subject, there's a bunch of people who are going to get into trouble because they haven't been doing it. Because unfortunately, many people have this tendency to say, we are going to wait until the department says, now do it, even though they know it's coming. They're too busy trying to kind of maintain a sinking ship in some instances. So if you don't have a sinking ship or you have great people that you're working with, you're able to kind of move forward. So as a parent, as a teacher, whoever, I would recommend this to make sure that once it begins, your child doesn't fall behind. Ultimately, it is your child. He or she is your child, my apologies. So you want to make sure that they are ahead of the game. So, tablet, you can do it here. If there's no tablet, you can just use a computer or your laptop. If you have internet access, great, it'll work. If you don't have internet access, we will give you an alternative. For now, if you have internet access, simply type Blockly. The first one should be Blockly Games, and this should come up again. We're assuming at this point that you've got someone in primary school, right? So they still haven't developed logic and everything quite as yet. These are basically games. The purpose of these games is to do two things. One, to introduce block coding. You don't have to make it serious. Just give it to them as a game, especially if it's foundation phase. And all they have to do, for instance, here is figure out what goes where. So it's a cat. Kids know what a cat is. They click and drag. This is like the basics, the beginning of block coding. And then they look for a snail and a bee. Here's a bee, and all they have to do is have to match the pictures to the words. And you can help as a parent, and you're already getting them ahead. Remember, coding is going to be a compulsory subject. We're moving into AI. We're not moving, we're already at AI. So you can't have a child that doesn't understand the basics of block coding, that doesn't understand the basics of AI by the time they get to like high school. That's just falling behind. Some of us are sending kids to schools that are a bit behind, um, so you need to work a little harder. All right. So below this, you choose the legs. So it's four legs here. Snails have no legs. Bees have six legs. Sorry, six legs. And ducks have two legs. Fairly simple. Ducks have feathers. They have beaks. Bees have stingers. Snails have shells. snails have slime, bees have honey, cats have whiskers, and they have fur. Now, the reason I've done this is you have check answers. This is the other point, is to be able to say, here's something, work on this, and you're walking away while they're learning, rather than sitting there and going one step at a time. You can do it. I'm simply saying if you're busy, the child can get along with this on their own. You don't have to say, I can't help you, I can't be around because I'm busy. See, it tells you all the blocks are correct. If they're incorrect, they highlight which ones are incorrect. The child, you walk away, you do whatever you need to be doing, you're cooking, whatever, the child does it. You can come back and you can see the child's progress. You know that they finished this. If it doesn't go all the way to the end, you know that they moved on without finishing it, right? Then you've got a maze. Again, similar situation. I'm not going to go through the entire maze because it'll just become a boring video. But again, each time they do something, they run the program. Run program, and here's the block code right there. This will be great for teachers, especially if you don't know what coding is as a teacher, especially coding and robotics teacher. This should be your basics. This can run you through for a term. This alone can run you through for a term. Remember, you're also going to do exercise books offline, so if you understand just these 3 things you're going to do, you'll be good for a term. Easy. If you are in KwaMashu, in Tozoma, let's just say Inanda Central. Let's just put it that way. If you're around Inanda Central, if you're in that circuit, then we're still gonna have workshops. I'm in talks with the coding and robotics guy. We're working on something. We're working on something that we want to do consistently. So at least if KZN is behind, Inanda Central is not behind. Inanda Central is ahead. And the coding and robotics begins. So we're looking at this block, move forward, but you only moved halfway, so we need to put a second block there, and these are the blocks that's going to dictate what happens here. So move forward twice, and it gets to the end, and once you're done, you go to okay. And then it gets harder and harder, slowly but surely it gets harder and harder. Tells you what number you're at. Right, so again, as a parent, if you're a parent, you walk away, you come back, it tells you how far the child did. If they skipped, it should stay white. If they finished it, it should stay grey. So a parent's not going to say, I'm too busy. They're simply going to set us up, walk away, fulfill their duties, and come back later. So let's cancel this. Or let's just go straight back. Right, oh yes, I forgot. The child does it, you're busy, you need to go out, you can go out, you can close this and you can come back later, and it will remember